see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther.
Being so hopeless at one point and then having the opportunity make you go harder. You always wanted, but it looked like it was just not gonna happen. It looked like it was out of reach. It looked like it was just knee deep in some concrete quicksand that wasn't gonna let you go. The mentality that, you know, this is nothing. If we could make it past that, and when it looked like it was all over and there was no hope and it was just like we was all at our lowest of low, whatever little speed bump we'll come across in this industry it's gonna seem like, you know, it's not too much of nothing. It's gonna be a little burden probably, or, you know, a little pressure, but we still move past that.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Jmarrtt. Thank you for tuning into my first YouTube video. I am juiced. To show you guys, my canvas here is Joe. I'm sure you guys know him as J Faded on Instagram and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel yet, make sure you go and do that and subscribe. He's putting out some dope content, dope interviews. So let's get started. What I did first was I combed down the hair and make sure it was laying down flat. I like to start with the higher guard just to make sure that I'm not going too high on his fade. Just since his hair is already short on the side, I start off with the 2 open guard going up against the grain, getting all those hairs down, getting the bulk down. From there, what I like to do is go down with with my 2 lever closed, and I repeat the process. So what I do is I work my way down in guards. Here I'm using the 1.5, and I just repeated the same process that I was doing with my number 2 guard. That's going up against the grain and then knocking it back down closed with the grain. So one of the reasons why I take this approach with Joel's hair is because his hair is very coarse. His hair likes to just lay flat on his head, and I have to keep going over and over his type of hair just to make sure I get everything evenly in length. It's very easy to miss spots and kind of leave patchy areas just because simply you didn't go over his hair more than once. He has that type of hair to where you do have to go over it more than one time just to make sure everything's even. So notice I'm always brushing down. Like I said, I like to brush down, make sure I'm getting all that hair. What I'm doing here is I'm making my first guideline, giving it a drop since this is a drop fade. So one thing I like to do is just make that guideline, as straight as possible. I don't like to make it like all types of crooked, just because your first initial guidelines, one of those important things, it kind of just determines on how that fade's gonna look, if it's gonna come out nice straight. So with the drop, I kind of just try to fade along that line. Here I'm balding out the excess hair, taking all that off. So I know I mentioned earlier I like to fade down using higher guard just to make sure I don't go as high on that fade. What I do here is once I do find the length that I do want to be, I will start working my way up. So I did start with that blade with that lever closed, making another guideline. Then from there I open that blade up, make my second guideline. So it's kind of like I'm starting over again. So I make small little adjustments, playing with the lever from open and close. I usually just like to start off with the lever open, working my way down. From there, moving on to the next guard, same thing, and kind of just repeating that process. So same thing, I kind of just working it up. Like I said, not going too high into the fade, trying to keep everything as low as I can to still create that drop effect. So I'm taking some of the bulk down again with that 1 guard closed, like I said, just to make sure there's no hair sticking up. So I remember the first time I cut Joel's hair, it was kind of tricky just because he had that hair that went everywhere. It was coarse, curly, kinky, and I had to find a way to go with his hair. So it took some time. That's one reason why I do work with the guards, like fading my way down, just because it is a little trickier. Another thing also is, I don't know if you can see it, but I use a flick out motion every time I'm getting to those darker areas of hair, just because, like I said, I don't want to dig into that the darker parts of the hair and leave any unnecessary guidelines that I won't have to go back and fix later. pay attention to how I use like half of the blade when I'm fading. Sometimes I don't use the full blade just because, you know, there's just little areas that I want to be able to fix and patch up or actually fade out. And those are one of those things that are very helpful for me, you know, just not using the full blade like I do here, like with the masters. Sometimes I don't want, you know, a certain area to be darker. Sometimes I want to create that long stretch, tight blend. Look at bro, just living his best life. He got his eyes closed, falling asleep in the chair, getting pampered, getting his fresh cut. Nah, but the story behind this, like, he was actually feeling sick, and I did feel bad because this is my first YouTube video. So I was like, bro, how do I do this? How do I do that? And you know, I was just like, man, I feel bad. I gotta put bro through this. Man, I should have just did this video another day. But no, like at the end of the day, you'll see him. He starts smiling and stuff. He starts feeling fresh, starts feeling himself. So one of the steps I take to actually like give my fade an extra pop is I always balled out my first guideline, and I use my T outliners. Ooh, that boy fresh. Look at him. He's awake now, feeling himself. Got a little mango smoothie. I use spritz to lay that hair down, and what it does, it kind of just freezes that hairline. It keeps it in place. It makes lining up the whole hairline way easier. It's not moving. Yeah, and it's just a simple way to just lay it on there and line up. If you don't have it, I suggest you buy some. This was the step that I was talking about when I kind of go over that guideline to give that bald transition, you know, into that tight fade. Here I'm just doing some touch-up work, make sure everything lays down, make sure everything's kind of in place, getting that fade cleaner, smoother, kind of just double checking, you know, going back and doing that double check work. As you can see, I'm flicking out, using a flick out motion, all the little stranded hairs popping up. Now we're on to the beard. I'm trying to keep that beard as natural as possible. So the way Joe likes his beard is keeping that the tip to a point.
Purchase your tracks today.
Here I'm using the outliners to actually like line the back of the beard. I comb the beard back just to get more hair that are sticking out. Same thing with the front. Clients appreciate it, they like it. It makes the beard come out sharper. What I'm doing here is finally like touching it up with the buzzers. It's kind of like the last step, shaving out everything, giving it that bald blend. So here it's the same steps I use on the other side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this on fast forward and just kind of speed this up.
Purchase your tracks today.
So with the hairline, I like to comb it down. Same thing. Make sure all that hair is down and laid flat. I usually start from the left side, or whatever side I feel is lower. I usually start on that side when I'm lining somebody up, and I mean, I just try to get it as crispy as I can.
Purchase your tracks today.
Same thing again, I lay down that spritz, and I'll go over that line again with the liners. So here, I do use the enhanced brown, and what that does is just make your lineup pop. A lot of clients do like this, they really do appreciate it. It makes them feel like celebs when they get out the chair, you know, they feeling themselves, they want to be seen, and somebody got to see that haircut. Look at my boy, he got his phone out. Somebody got to see this cut. He's feeling himself. So I like to go over the lineup a couple times. Ooh, look at my boy feeling really light skinned. Look at that eye drooping. But like I said, I like to go over the lineup a few times just to get it crispy. And this is the finished product, so this is what it's looking like. This is the money cut right here. Feeling himself, you know, that's what I like to see. My clients, you know, feeling on top of the world. A haircut would do that to you. There's that smile. This is why we call it the money cut, baby. Have you feeling like a bag of money. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what else you guys want to see. If there's anything I can work on. But yeah, hit me up. My Instagram is Jmarrtt. And till next time.